According to a report from 2003, the Romanian Intelligence Service, SRI, and its so-called Zero Equipment Department, an office belonging to SRI, made an amazing discovery that could change the destiny of humanity. However, as in this type of revelations, hidden interests pressed for this discovery not to be disclosed to the world, which is why Romania and the United States reached a scientific and military agreement. The United States included Romania in NATO, and the Vatican gave the Romanian government some very important documents related to the true past of this country. Location of the Bucegi Mountains in Romania. It has also been speculated that the so-called Illuminati tried to take control of the discovery and the Romanian-American expedition, something that is not surprising, since it is said that this group of dark ends has led many of the conspiracies which occurred to this day and which led to drastic changes in the world. A researcher came on the scene. It was Caesar Brad, very skilled in this type of work, and was very interested in this subject. Two curious data, and that could connect this finding with the conspiracy, are the following: location of the Bucegi Mountains in Romania. Caesar Brad was part of the Bilderberg Group. In 2003, Brad received a person from abroad named Masini, who had a high rank of power and who ran one of the most important Masonic lodges of the Bilderberg Group. Although it was not possible to find precise information about the identity of Caesar Brad, it can be said that he was an expert who dedicated years of investigation to the strange phenomena, and that possibly was director of strategic operations of major importance of the Romanian state. Brad excels in the events surrounding the discovery in the Bucegi Mountains, and perhaps one of the few people who had direct contact with a high representative of the Illuminati, also a member of the Bilderberg Group. Also, the true identity of the person who visited Brad in 2003 is unknown, but without doubt it was someone with immense power, since the request came from the SRI itself. This mysterious and powerful personage was foreign, nevertheless dominated the dioma of the Romanians and knew very well the country. It has been speculated that Masini could be the Belgian Etienne Davignon, president of the Bilderberg Group. Davignon was born in 1932, Viscount, a political expert on foreign policy and entrepreneur. Etienne Davignon, as mentioned earlier, it is notable that this character, who visited Brad, had great influences, and one more evidence of this is that SRI only knew that this person belonged to a very important Masonic lodge of Italy, and that he had nobility and a strong presence in business and finance in Romania. He seemed to have knowledge of everything, and he got into the SRI and reached the secret Department Zero. The circumstances surrounding the arrival of Masini are equally strange than the findings there. A helicopter brought this tall, arrogant man, dressed in a black suit. He wore a staff with an ivory handle and gold inlays. His expression was hard and his green eyes radiated an unusual coldness, which had a strange effect. He introduced himself as Mr. Masini. He was very sure of himself and gave the impression of being accustomed to giving orders. He led one of the most venerable and important Masonic lodges in Europe, one of the most influential Masonic organizations in the world, the Bilderberg Group. Masini went straight into matter, saying that people were of two types, those who can be manipulated and directed, most, and the others, who possess certain virtues and a strong personality. He affirmed that his group was part of the Masonic order more important of all, and that this one was very interested in the result of the encounter between both. Caesar replied that he knew some aspects of Freemasonry. Etienne Davignon. Mr. Masini went on to say that the Bilderberg Group was not properly a lodge, but much more. He said that the lodges were simple facades and that the royal power was at the top of a hierarchy of 33 levels. Masini invited Caesar to join the group, making him understand that it would bring him great advantages. Masini manifested great power and an unusual psychic force for his age. Unfortunately for him, his power was centered on a great arrogance, an enormous ego, and a feeling of superiority towards the others. Masini said he had requested the meeting, due to Caesar's power and relations, as the group he directed appreciated his powers. Research in the Bucegi Mountains, United States of America has incredibly advanced technology, much of it has been revealed by some complainants, aircraft, to carry out the research in the Bucegi Mountains, and showing an obvious interest, Mazzini offered to support with technological artifacts, but demanded that this be kept in reserve. Apparently the interested already knew of the secrets of the Bucegi Mountains, thanks to a radar that in 2002 had penetrated in the depths of the place. Mazzini was sure that inside the dome you will discover something very important. Correspondence between the Sphinx of Bucegi, on the structure of the interior. He had a deep knowledge about the origin of this discovery and also knew of the existence of at least the elements located inside the great hemispheric room. Soon they would have knowledge of the existence of a tunnel and a dome that were strangely aligned with the rock formations of the top of the mountain, known as Babel and the Sphinx of Bucegi. Correspondence between the Sphinx of Bucegi, on the structure of the interior. A Pentagon satellite for geodetic espionage, based on bionic technology, discovered in 2002 a colossal hole in a specific area of the Bucegi Mountains. Babel to the left and the Sphinx of Bucegi is located precisely on the dome and the tunnel found in the interior of the mountain. The scan of the Pentagon's geodetic satellite on the mountain revealed two important energy blocks. Babel to the left and the Sphinx of Bucegi is located precisely on the dome and the tunnel found in the interior of the mountain. The dams were made of artificial energy. The first was a wall, which blocked access to the tunnel. The second was enormous, like a dome or hemisphere, at the opposite end of the tunnel, near the center of the mountain. The whole hemisphere of the tunnel was in a plane parallel to the ground, and the dam was hemispherically vertical to the corresponding rocks in the mountain range called Babel. In fact, the vertical slope ends about 40 meters between Babel and the Sphinx of Bucegi, Sphinxal din Bucegi. For this reason the place had to be drilled, but this work was not simple. It would require another advanced and secret device. Mazzini promised ultra-sophisticated American military technology to drill the first energy barrier. It was a very powerful machine that drilled rocks at high speed with a strong plasma jet and a rotating magnetic field. Mazzini demanded absolute discretion on the subject. Representation of the location of the dome and the tunnel in the interior of the Bucegi Mountains. During the drilling they discovered a tunnel where the walls were polished and at the end of it was a huge stone door, but when they wanted to cross there was an energy barrier, where 3 people who recklessly touched the barrier died of cardiac arrest. Representation of the location of the dome and the tunnel in the interior of the Bucegi Mountains. By touching that barrier with other objects of stone, wood, metal, they became fine dust. A tunnel in Romania. Caesar opened the door by striking a triangle from the center of the square rock. So Caesar was able to move the great stone door that silently slid into the wall. This disconnected the energy barrier and opened the stone door. Now the gallery could be seen in all its splendor. Although there was no light source, the grand gallery was illuminated. A tunnel in Romania. After disconnecting the energy barrier, however, the large hemispherical shield on the opposite side of the camera suddenly increased its vibration and began to emit higher radiation. Looking closely at the wall inside the great gallery, it was apparent that although it seemed synthetic, something organic was also part of it. It had the color of oil, but its reflections were green and even blue. The material on the wall was rugged to the touch, and it could not be scratched or bent, resisting any attempt to break, puncture, or cut. Flames of fire self-absorbed strangely. In fact, the fire could not incinerate this material. The Americans recognized that the material was a mixture of organic and inorganic matter. At about 85 meters, the gallery suddenly turned to the right at a closed angle. In the distance there was a blue light that shone like a star. This blue light was only the reflection of the protective shield of energy. According to the United States National Security Advisor. At the same time as they entered, Iraq's energy shield was also activated. In front of the shield appeared a hologram of the Earth, which progressively drew the European continent, then headed southeast, to the Bucegi Mountains of Romania and finally showed the location of the gallery. It was obvious that the two half-spherical shields of energy were directly connected. When passing the barrier, a great hologram representing the Earth was shown to those present. When passing the barrier, a great hologram representing the Earth was shown to those present. When the discovery of the Bucegi Mountains was made public, the truth about the type of manipulation, deception, and the influence that Masonic groups have on mankind would be discovered and could generate chaos for the Americans. The Vatican also intervened, offering documents of great importance, from the ancient papal archives that refer to the great discovery of the Bucegi Mountains. After 24 hours of conversation, the state of Romania and USA reached an agreement, where they decided to postpone the news about the discovery and to communicate the information gradually to the world. In 2009, local television Antena 1 reported briefly on the events, but after the broadcast of these received a telephone threat with only one warning: not to touch the subject. The Grand Gallery ended abruptly in a large chamber 30 meters high and 100 meters long. The room was smaller than the entrance to the mountain and protected by the energy shield. As it advanced toward the shield, a part of it disappeared as a door, allowing access to the room. The shield protected the room from any kind of outside influence. Once inside, the shield became compact and appeared like a wall of golden white tone. In the back, the shield did not reach the ground, as in the front, because there was a stone wall. In the entrance hall, along both walls, to the right and left, following the internal curvature, were enormous stone tables. The tables had a height of at least 2 meters. Above them were carved in relief, with precision, different signs of an unknown writing, whose characters were similar to the old cuneiform script. Writing incorporated more general symbols, such as triangles and circles, and although they were not painted, visually highlighted with a colored fluorescent radiation was different at each table. To view the surface of the tables, a stage where a large square covered a glassy material were visible, forming a grid on a table, and biology topics screened in other plants, animals, and other unknown species brought. Hitting the square was a hologram of the human body structure, rotating different parts of the body. The other squares showed projections of other beings in celestial bodies. When they hit 2 squares at the same time, they showed the complete analysis of the DNA of beings. The compatibility between them also showed a description in a strange script, and at the end came the image of the new being that came out from the combination of genetic codes. Genetic combinations revealed in the Bucegi Mountains. The library of the universe. On each side of the room were 5 enormous tables, and in each of them were screens on different subjects, of physics, cosmology, astronomy, architecture, technology, the different races of beings intelligent which apparently were not all human, and religion. Genetic combinations revealed in the Bucegi Mountains. It seemed like the huge library of the universe. In the middle of the room was a podium installed in a device, which could be a thought energy amplifier. Above the tables were screens showing different subjects: physics, cosmology, astronomy, architecture, and other technologies of different races. Apparently it would be a huge library of the universe. The panel had 2 levers that could be activated to give an order. In its center was a red button that stood out above the others. The function of the button was to show in a holographic explanation an image of the Earth from a height of 25 km, with the Carpathian Mountains. Large amounts of water flowed into the lowlands and plains until everything was completely flooded. From the territory of present-day Romania and part of Hungary and Ukraine, giant rivers appeared from all directions to the mountains and to the plateau of Transylvania. From there, the image was even more focused on Romania. Practically the whole territory was flooded and formed a sea. Only 5 mountain peaks protruded, like little islets. Activating the levers of the panel, the waters receded from all over the territory, and they went to the same point of the mountains of the Massif Retez at Gdańsk. It was a real manual. A mysterious amphora and pure gold. Behind the control panel was a space of 3 meters by 3, in which was placed an amphora, whose content was probably the most important discovery of all. That was what Mazzini wanted for himself and for the Masonic elite. The amphora was filled with fine white powder. The researchers found that the substance had an unknown crystalline structure of monoatomic gold, very difficult to obtain, especially in its high purity formula. Mazzini became aware of the existence of the amphora, even before entering the room. The gold powder in its pure form greatly stimulates certain vibrations and the exchange of energy at the cellular and neuronal level. That makes an accelerated process of rejuvenation. Theoretically, a man can live in the same physical body for a few thousand years, as long as he occasionally consumes a stipulated amount of monatomic gold powder. This explains many mysterious aspects of the incredible longevity of some important characters and shows the hidden intentions of the Masonic world elite. The three mysterious tunnels. The tunnel on the left leads to Egypt, a group of secret buildings still undiscovered, buried under the sand of the desert. The right tunnel goes to a similar structure, but smaller, in the plateau of Tibet. The center has three secondary ramifications, one leading to an area of Bucegi, Romanian town, near the Carpathian Mountains, another leads to the underground structure of Iraq, near Baghdad, mentioned above, and the last one goes even under the Gobi Plateau in Mongolia. Giants in ancient times. The beings that would have built this building would be giants, since the size of the room of projections, the tables, and all the objectives demonstrated it. The researcher Vasily Larudin gave testimony about the stories that surround the town of Bucegi, where they tell about the giants who lived in those lands. Also 20 years ago a cemetery was discovered in a town called Skaini, where they found tombs where rests of enormous skeletons of giants that measured about 2.40 centimeter more. Giants in ancient times. The secret world, the third tunnel located in the center of the other two, contains a secret world on which the United States wanted full guarantee. Given the enormous political influence and relations of the Venerable Mazzini and the Masons in the political structure of Romania and the United States, it is suspected that they gradually attempted to take control. The first expedition would go to Egypt, the second to Tibet, and the third to the center of the earth. The true story of the planet. In the middle of the square was a large vault that projects a hologram, with the main aspects of the most distant past of humanity, from the origin. The true origin of humanity was expressed in a compressed holographic form. After these lessons about truth, it could be said that 90% of the official history of mankind is false, it is manipulated. Although it seems incredible, historical events that are considered real, are mostly lies, while the myths and legends of different cultures come much closer to the truth. This strange reversal of reality created many conflicts and problems among people in the past. Most archaeological theories are also false. Representation of the lost city of Atlantis. Some fantasies of academics, such as the extinction of dinosaurs 65 million years ago, as well as the fact of considering the ancient continents of Lemuria and Atlantis as part of a myth, are annulled, before the holographic projection that clearly shows how they occurred things in reality. Representation of the lost city of Atlantis. Whenever the hologram maintained the image of a concrete event, in the background was projected the celestial map, marking the position of the main stars and constellations at that precise moment, which allowed to date with accuracy the events that were being shown. Important events. The author states that he saw everything that actually happened during the flood and where human civilization began, but it is not allowed to reveal the truth because it is too shocking to the mentality, ideas, and knowledge of contemporary man. This is something that in Koto Culto we do not understand, because this author would be playing a similar role to that carried out by groups of power who conceal the truth deliberately. Representation of the Ark in the universal flood, according to the Bible. Through a sequence of disturbing images also explains the life of Jesus and how they crucified him. The projections show all those who witnessed the crucifixion of Jesus on Mount Golgotha, but who had been transported from other historical periods to witness it. These human beings did not differ in their external appearance from the Jews of the time. They were dressed in the same way, but their facial features were different, and for that reason they hid their faces with the clothes that they carried as well as they could. The hologram showed scenes of the life of Jesus and his death on the cross. It was also revealed that characters, potential travelers of time, witnessed the scenes while hiding their faces, with different features, under the robes. The hologram also shows sequences of spiritual life and the missions of exceptional characters from the distant past of humanity, of which we know nothing at present. At that time the social and population distribution was completely different from the current one, forcing archaeologists and anthropologists to review their theories from the beginning. Just a good science fiction story? In fact, all the details narrated could be considered like that, and to generate until a great cinematographic production. However, some data are verifiable. As Massini said, there are two types of people, those who are manipulated and those who do not. Where will we be? Could this information, although not completely checked, be a manipulation of truth, an incomplete fable? Or it is possible that this is the truth that has been hidden from us and that has remained submerged among the Bucegi Mountains in Romania.